The new album came about. Sony BMG wanted me to make another record, which I was really excited about, and they were very keen for me to kind of, I suppose, travel a little in a different direction, although they didn't really have an idea or couldn't really guide me as to what they wanted, and I don't want it to seem like it was something that I was forced to do, or it was a musical change that I was actually really ready for and quite excited by. I think for certainly for the last 5 years, I made a conscious effort to start listening to all types of music, which included pop music, which I hadn't listened to before. I got very interested in making or creating a melting pot of sound that would cover a 70-year, period. So it had some of the stuff that I hold very dear, like certain jazz chords, and I have a fascination with kind of vocals and backing vocals going back to the early 30s, people like the Boswell sisters, and to be able to work with people to build a bridge of these styles was basically what I wanted to do. So that's what I wanted to make happen in this new record. I never wanted to kind of go and here's another one I wrote and I'm amazing, because especially coming from a jazz background, you're working mainly with the American songbook, and there's no finer collection of work. But there's kind of it's a genuine interest of something that you've created, and you actually want to see how it's going to turn out. Certainly, there's a couple of things that I've written that have been started while I was at university and finished on this album. The album's made up of a lot of original material. There's 5 songs that myself and Muddy wrote, and there's a song that Mark, one of the producers, wrote, and a song that a pianist, Simon Wallace, wrote. And that was really important because that's the most original material I've ever had on a record, or brand new stuff. So the covers that were chosen to kind of glue this stuff together with this new sound, which I don't really know how to describe it, because all I can say is that everything is meant with honesty and realness, and that's kind of my whole mission statement. Is it's got to be real and believable and genuine and beautiful. It's about beauty and a warmth. Somebody was talking about having had an operation, that they had this growth that was the size of a grapefruit, and it reminded me of watching on television. I think it was the royal family when Caroline Aherne was having a baby, and the baby was the size of a grapefruit. And I thought, it's strange. It's become some form of imperial measurement that things are measured by grapefruits. And so as I do, and I think a lot of songwriters do this, or just you get into a Google frame of mind, and I thought I'll Google grapefruit, and I was looking on Wikipedia, and I was the funniest thing it was supposed to be about. I thought I'll write a really silly song about grapefruits, nothing else to do, Tuesday afternoon, and it said the citrus paradisi, and it was this paragraph, and it was how the grapefruit was the most misunderstood fruit in all fruitendom, and that it had. It took years, many years, for it to be even recognised as a fruit, and it was so ungainly and cumbersome, and it was laughed at, and I was heartbroken, and I thought, well, citrus paradisi is a really beautiful name, and it just sort of, to me, it was a bit, love is all, when you fall in love, it's not cool, you do feel a little bit grapefruitish, and it is ungainly, and it's bittersweet, and it's all those things, and that's how it started. Citrus Paradisi Carousel. I recorded the album here in Chris Hughes' studio. I normally make records in London in a very short time, and so there's a lot of kind of staying in hotels, and there's never a piano when you need one, and it's not real life, because it's not, you don't get up in your own bed and you don't go to work, and so it was really important to me to make this new direction, that I I had a base, you know, and to be able to kind of, you know, well, Mark used to pick me up every day. 5 minutes later, we're here, and it's beautiful.
A lot of the tracks were constructed with myself in this position here, with a microphone here, so that I could easily record it and quickly get the ideas down, and Claire singing in the other room in the studio. And I'm just going to play a little bit of stuff here, so you can hear how I put it together. We'd start with maybe a first track of vocals here. And we experimented with a lot of different textures and so on, and building up tracks on there. Claire would put down some on top. We had a lot of fun doing all this kind of stuff. I think one of the albums that we listened to at the time was the Beach Boys' Stack of Tracks recordings, where you can hear Brian and the rest of the boys all just with the backing vocals in solo, and how much time and care they spent on building it up, and it was something that excited us both.
Working with Claire on the album was, for me, absolutely fantastic. She doesn't miss a trick. She's unbelievably funny, incredibly hardworking, super talented, and any suggestion we'd make about how a certain part could go or a certain part isn't quite working, she rose to the occasion and went, I think it could be this. We could try that. She'd go in, stand behind the mic, and then sing beautifully, and it was just an absolute dream working with her.